Hello.
What's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yay. Welcome, everybody to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you for everybody who's joining us in the live chat. And hello to the replay crew. Okay, who's in here today? Hey, Susan. Hey, Black Lavender. I love that y'all are here. Just, just
Giselle.
out here getting a groove back. That's yet to be determined. I don't know why I feel like this is coming off like how we used to accuse what's her name? She's on Dancing with the Stars now. Kenya of renting a man per season. I'm just saying. Anywho, I'm glad that she has companionship. All right,
Yeah, something
so
about it.
which show do you want to start with?
Potomac.
All righty. Well, since we've got the beautiful cherry blossoms up. All right, so this is the Real Housewives of Potomac, season 6, episode 16, Crab Boiling Over. I think this is the first time I really didn't focus on the food because they never really showed us.
They didn't show too much. I was just like, really?
Like, we saw some of the prep, but I like to see the final display. I like to see people eating. God. All right, so it's still day 2, how we open up. They come back on the disastrous bus trip after the cruise. Wendy says dinner's at 7. We see some useless scenes. Ashley sorting out her breast milk. Not that that is useless. It's very important for her babies, but it's useless to me because I'm getting tired of her babies.
No, I'm not gonna tell her babies. I'm not gonna say that. It's just I'm kind of over her and the breast milk. I mean, you can't have your storyline cannot be breast milk.
But is she drinking alcohol? Because I thought you had to wait, you had to dump a certain amount of time after you drank alcohol before you could use that milk again. Like the alcohol has to work through your system before you can use your breast milk again. I've never had a child, but I just assumed that. I could be
I
wrong.
I would think so.
Because,
Uh,
like, when you're taking a drug test for a job, don't you have to let stuff work through your system?
yeah, unless you have the stuff, you know.
Mm. Oh, Black Lavender. Uh, Jamal, Black Lavender, remind me when we get to this part with her snapbacks. Because there's something that Candace said in a previous episode, which really brought this home to me. And I'm believing what Candace says has some validity. Just saying. Hey,
I mean,
Trey.
I mean, I get it. I get it. But I'm gonna need people. I get it, but I'm not gonna ignore where we how we got here, and that's the thing. Like people, I've noticed, and I've talked to other people. They're like, you can't just look at
Mm-hmm.
things where they are. You have to go back to the beginning to see how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashley wasn't wrong, because the way he was acting. Would I have used those words? Not really, because um I just wouldn't have used that. Wouldn't I mean, amnesia? Yes. Alzheimer's, not so much. But I'm gonna be honest. I didn't take offense to what Ashley said. I never gonna get to this. The reason why I didn't is because her husband's in the same age range.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't take as I'm not going to take as much offense as Mia did. And I'm sorry, Mia, you were just looking for your moment because you never did once check your husband for what he did. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, because I have something to say about that too. She doesn't. It's almost as if she doesn't hear what he says. It's like
Yeah.
she ignores way too much with him.
Mhm.
Um, but anywho, all right. So everybody's gotten ready for the crab boil. Everyone assembles downstairs. I love Ray and Karen coming in dancing. I thought that was so cute. I don't know. I like to see them on track. Like last season when they weren't getting along, I didn't like that at all. But this season, I like Rain Karen. I think it's cute. Um, let's see. They have blankets because outside's a little nippy. Everyone goes and sits down at the table. Hold on. There was something here that happened at the table. Oh, G says it was too cold for him outside, so he goes in. He gets his food and he goes inside. Okay. Wendy gives a toast to everybody. I like how she, thanked everybody for coming. She toasts Candace's album, Karen's vow renewal, and something else. I forget. But I thought it was a very nice way to end off the trip because this was their last night there. Um, Ashley asked the best question with Eddie and how was like it going with him and his family? Was there any movement on that? And we find that Eddie is having a conversation with his family and the door is cracked. So there is some hope for some improvement in that relationship. So yay. And the dinner seems great. The dinner seems great.
Yeah.
Wendy takes Karen away with Eddie because they have a special surprise for Ray. Because Karen mentioned to Wendy about how he said he wanted someone to pop out of their wedding cake, and so she has this fake cake that Karen's going to pop out of just for Ray. I thought that was a nice touch.
It was cute. Karen,
Mm-hmm.
you better do something for your man.
I think it was a nice surprise for Karen too, and I like she's a real sport. She participates when it's warranted. I like it. But while all of this merrymaking is going on, um, the back and forth with Ashley and G starts up. Who started this?
He made a I want to say he made a comment towards Giselle. Giselle didn't like
About the
it.
sleeping, yeah.
And she said, like, see, this is where you went. This is where you and Ashley went wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how the conversation got started. She's all like, yeah, no, it's not right, no. And that's when he's like, what are you talking about? She's all like, on the bus. He's all, what bus? And Ashley just looked at him like, are you crazy? And then she's all, do you have amnesia? He's like, and I think he said something else, and then she's like, do you have Alzheimer's? And I was like, okay, like, well, I have used that word, no, but here's the like I explained earlier. Here's the reason why. It is because her man and G are in the same age range,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't take as much offense to it because it was just something she probably would say to Michael. To be completely honest, like I could see her saying, "Is Alzheimer's setting in? Are you okay?" I could see her saying something like that. So I'm not too mad about it. I can understand how some people can be offended,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're affected directly. It's like, oh my god, how could she say that? But when you step back and say, okay, her husband's in the same age range, I'm like, okay, like I like be mindful in the future, but I'm not going to take as much offense to it as most people would.
I think if Karen was at the table, it might have landed a bit differently because remember, at least one of her parents was afflicted by Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
And I have a parent that is in the midst of that. Would I have taken offense to it? No, but it would have been a sensitive spot. And then
Yes.
I would have been looking at G differently because
Hmm.
of my situation. And I would then be looking at him side eye. You know, you have to be careful when you're throwing out certain words because it
Hmm.
leads to people like me start looking at people who it's hurled at differently, especially if they're in
Right.
the age group.
No, no, completely. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at it like, well, you should have spoke to your husband about this approaching women. I just don't understand that thought process. How you feel it's okay to approach another woman the way he did, like and trying to
Mm-hmm.
antagonize her, and she wasn't doing nothing to you, and you did it while her husband wasn't there. I have issues with that. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't like. I don't. I've said this before. I'll keep saying I don't like when men approach women in any kind of confrontational way.
Mm.
Anyway, I just don't do it. I don't like it. If you're defending yourself, it's one thing. But he was poking at Ashley for no reason, and her husband wasn't there. So you wouldn't have done it if her husband was there. I stand by that. So he's to blame for his actions. Stop stop poking at people. Poke at the men. Why aren't you poking at the men that way? Because you know they probably jack your ass up. That's why.
Well, G says he was just playing. He says that if he hurt her feeling, he's sorry, but he's not sorry for what he said. Then what's
Right.
the
So,
point of you? And that if word, if
right.
I hurt your feelings.
That's why I just said, why you didn't apologize then? Keep it.
And Susan's right with the selective hearing. What Ashley says to I think she says it to Mia, do you have selective hearing? I firmly believe that she does.
Mm-hmm.
She has selective hearing when it comes to her husband. Um oof, I don't know. I don't know. And then all of a sudden Mia goes off on a tangent, and she's like, "Where's your husband?" And this, I agree with Trey. Is it me, or did the season seem rushed? The final few episodes seem disjointed. The flow seems
Mm-hmm.
off. I was like, where did we go with that?
It was weird.
It was just a total tangent I wasn't expecting. And then now that we've gotten here and she gets into, where's your husband? Ashley says, at home with my children. And her rebuttal, Mia's rebuttal is, are you sure? And the table's like, whoop. Okay. Remember when Candace said, it almost seems as if Mia did her homework and had a playbook, and she's going straight down the list of the people that she is going after.
Well,
I'm
yes.
beginning to like, this is making a lot of sense, because first was Giselle, then was Wendy, then we got Candace, now we got Ashley. Who left on the hit list?
I think that's everybody.
No, because Robin. But
I
wait, does
mean,
Robin count?
I mean, like there's nothing to with Robin. I mean, everyone else took care of Robin for her. So
Yeah, but just because she's part of the cast and somebody that she could have studied from previous seasons, I would say Robin. And then Karen. When is she going to turn on Karen?
she's not that stupid.
She could be next season, though.
True.
She could be next season. So it just struck me in in that essence, because if you didn't know Ashley, you're only hearing, like, I guess she might have heard some back details on him from these ladies, but I believe what Candace said is true. She did her homework, and she has her list, and she's systematically going through them.
I can definitely see that, and I can see how it definitely comes across because you've gone after everybody,
One at
and
a
some
time to get a moment. Shouldn't she say some of this for season 2?
right.
Just saying. Okay, so we have Karen come out and pop out of the cake. Of course, everyone at the table is just like, oh, and there was good commentary with the confessional with Candace saying, oh, it's like a tennis match. I'm just here eating my potatoes and corn, and I'm watching the ball go back and forth between those two. Very good. In the confessional, Wendy gives herself tens across the board as a
I was like,
hostess.
where? I'm like lies. I'm like lies.
Look, we have
Threes,
to give
threes.
her. This isn't like a normal trip in normal times, because they were still filming during C19. Things were limited. Was it the best trip? No. Was it the worst trip? No.
No.
Um, it is what it is. They couldn't do the normal things that they do on these trips. They just couldn't. Slap together in a hurry. Um, Mia's husband has a sense of dry humor. Uh, I was listening to another reviewer last week, and they said, "What if he is kind of attracted to Ashley?" And like when you're in kindergarten, and the
Mhm.
little boy picks on the little girl because he likes her, and he pulls her pigtails. And
Mm-mm.
then after seeing it this week, I was just wondering if Mia told him pick on Ashley because she's next on my hit list. I was going through all of these thought processes.
I could see it.
Mm-mm-mm. Hey, Priya.
I mean, he has a wandering eye. We've seen that.
Well, yeah, and she's told us that they've invited people into their marriage for him because she says that she just sits and watches. Okay. Um, to her like she did for Wendy. Mia's changing the meaning of the words and conversations to suit her like she did for Wendy. Mm. She locked the bathroom door so Giselle suffered with Robin. She locked the bathroom door. Oh, you mean that door that's in their shared bedroom, Priya?
Mm.
I heard that is a master bedroom behind there, but it doesn't have facilities. It doesn't have a bathroom. Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. See, that's why you watch the after show. I think it's just center of attention. He just wants to be. Yeah, I can agree with that too. Freezing. Is it freezing for any? Oh, I'm sorry if it's freezing. Uh, StreamNet issues. All right, so let's see. Oh, Karen does tell them at this dinner, you're going to be receiving some boxes, invitations. Please open them outside. Okay. Back home, Candace and Wendy are talking, and Wendy calls G Big Uncle Big Daddy G. I don't think any of these women are very comfortable with G. I think they can take Gordon, but not G.
Right.
Okay, so everybody gets their packages and everyone has their little freakouts. It's a box with butterflies in them. You're supposed to open it up and the butterflies fly away. Um, it went wrong. It went wrong. Okay, thanks, Priya. Okay, the bedroom with the door. Right. So Priya, that the bedroom that Giselle and Robin got, that door that we see next to Giselle's bed, that goes to another master bedroom, but it does not have a bathroom. Wendy told us that on the after show.
Mm.
Yeah. So they still would have been out of luck. But why you ain't open up the door and let one of them go and sleep in the master bedroom?
Right.
Well, I guess if Juan had came, they could have been in there with Giselle in the outside bedroom. There you go. Okay. All right. So everybody gets their boxes. Nobody likes them. Well, maybe Mia did. I think Mia's box had the most awake butterflies, and they flew out as normal. Everybody else's butterflies was still asleep. All right. Then we see Mia and G talking about her mom and the kids. So after they came back from Chesapeake, they were going on a staycation for their anniversary. So it seems like they came home, dumped out their clothes, repacked, and were going away again. And mom was still with the kids. So after 2 hours, Mia had to come back home because mom couldn't figure out what to feed the kids for dinner. Um, I really think that for the first time babysitting the children, this was a lot for her mother.
Mhm.
These children are not used to grandma, and grandma not used to these children, these
Right.
grandkids. Um, I think you and I had talked about this before. Maybe an afternoon where Mia's going to get her hair done.
Yes,
Like several of those, and then you work up to overnight, one overnight, and then you build 2 nights,
correct.
3 nights. You, I, okay, I'm not a parent. I just thought it was too much for her mom.
Oh yeah, first time alone with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was too much. That was too much. I agree with you. You start with a day. Like when I say a day, I mean like okay,
Mhm.
like so Mia leaves the house at 9, comes back at 6. Like because she's doing errands, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like
Nothing. Yeah,
even a hair appointment, 4 hours. Baby steps.
yeah. Not no full overnight trips with 3 kids. No.
Yeah. Aside from the locked bathroom snafu, I thought that Wendy was a better hostess than Robin gave her credit for. Robin's in her feelings and wants to be mad at somebody, anybody.
And I just don't understand why she's mad at Wendy. I'm like, if you feel like there's a disconnect in the friendship, either you A, go to that person privately, you guys work it out, or B, you just let it go. Like, but Robin's been harping on this for the whole season.
Because
The
what
whole
else does
season.
Robin have?
She has a house.
Uh,
I mean, but
what else?
let's give Robin credit though. She gave us a Scala allegedly.
No, she
If we
didn't.
if we if we think if we're going on the presumption that they're actual friends.
Um, I think, didn't Mia say at the beginning of the season that they haven't had a nanny since everything began? C19?
I believe that's accurate.
Oh, she does? She does have one?
I didn't think she had a nanny. I thought
Yeah, I thought that once everything went down, like it was just her and G with the kids. Like she hasn't had
because he
help.
works because she goes to the office while he stays at home.
Right. My oh Lord, Black Lavender. Jesus. We're gonna get to this because the Juan bit kind of
That was hilarious to me.
that creeped me out. I ain't gonna lie. Hey Katie. Okay, so apparently while they was on their staycation, Ronnie Ronnie is her mom's name, right? Ronnie called and she kept on calling, or texting or something like that. Mia called her back, left. Apparently, G interrupted one of those calls and was talking to Ronnie, and Ronnie rinsed him out. They get back home. Ronnie continued to rinse him out. He says he ain't saying nothing to her. I find that hard to believe, but okay. Um, and he said the two of them are like, we don't behave like that in front of our kids. Mia gave, I think, a genuine moment where she said, I know this type of behavior from my mom, and it's one step before she just walks away. And I don't want my kids to feel abandoned like how I did as a child. Whoa.
Yeah, that was when she said walk away. I'm like, ooh, don't do that, don't do that.
I don't I would hate to think that her mom would walk away from the kids.
Mhm.
I would hate to think that, but it did put fear into Mia, so much so that she went home to her children. There's a lot of unresolved issues with those two women, and I don't think that they should be bringing the children into it. Um, I don't. I think it's to a point now where y'all need some third party help to help
Agreed.
y'all overcome the issues that both of you have with each other.
And talk about them to and be in a place where you can talk about them open and honestly, and not.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to talk about the past because that's how you got to the present, but it can't be consistent harping on the past. And I think that's part of
Mm-hmm.
Mia's problem. She keeps saying like, "I'm trying to work with this." Like, we understand you're trying to through it with your mom. We understand that. That's great, but you can't keep
Mm-hmm.
going backwards. You gotta keep going, making those steps forward.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So now we get to Giselle and her daughters at the garden center.
Her kids are so insightful.
Oh my God. First off, they don't like nothing that Giselle likes at the garden center. And then they tell her point blank, period. How are we supposed to know what a normal relationship look like when we have no examples of that between you and daddy? Whoa. Ah, Giselle, Giselle, Giselle. Love it.
And then why is she calling it Hotel Giselle? Don't do that.
Well,
No, I do not like that. Not Hotel Giselle. No. Mm-mm.
well, maybe she's gonna have borders there.
I mean, but not hotel. But her
Well,
daughters did tell her right. They're like, we don't want you to die alone. And
oh
and,
Lord, was
that
that
was,
one of the twins? They are
I
the
think it was one of the
saltiest
twins.
too. The twins are the saltiest out of all her kids.
I don't blame them, but it's just more. It's just more like I don't. I agree with them. Like they want her to be something stable to where she's
Mhm.
happy, and it's. I get it. I mean, no one wants to see their parent alone and by themselves, and her still being young and vibrant, like she still got some get up in her. What they're trying to tell her is like, look, we need something to hold on to here. We need something um to hold on to and to learn from because they feel like they're not getting proper guidance. Is what to me is what they're saying.
Which one of them kids called their mother a vampire and that it's been 50 years of struggle.
I could have swore it was the oldest one. I could have swore it was the oldest one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Ah, these children. This is the best storyline Giselle ever had. You need to have your children on every episode to rinse you out. Oh, good Lord. All right. So then we have Ashley going to the therapist with baby Dylan. Um, Michael doesn't want sex from Ashley. I have a question here. Do you think that with him seeing her in a maternal role with, the breastfeeding and all of that, it's not attractive to him, and therefore that's why he isn't interested in having sex with her? Because I think she said to the therapist that she tries to initiate, but he says that he's tired. I don't see him turning down sex.
I don't see him turning down sex either, but I have heard that happens to some men where if they're okay, so basically what happens is if they're in the room and they see the full birth, it's a
Mhm.
complete turn off. It's
But
and it
didn't he
lasts.
see it with the first kid?
I don't know. Some men don't like being in the room. Some men don't. Some men will not do it.
I feel like he doesn't see her in, like, it's the, what is it, the Madonna slut theory.
Hmm.
um you're a slut when y'all together, but once you have the children you become the Madonna because they're seeing all those maternal things and you can no longer be the garden tool that you used to be.
Right.
um
I look at it from more that perspective. Like it's
mhm.
like okay, we have the one baby. It's cute. We can still get it in, right? We got this. Da, da, da. But then when you have baby number two, and if you watch the full birth, it's like, this
I
ain't
like when
sexy.
the Dylan is there screaming, and the therapist is like, how do you have a conversation with that going on, or something like that? And I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
For someone who did not want to have kids, I think now with one was okay, but with two, and this the second baby has like the feeding issue, the palate issue, or whatever. It's a lot for someone who, like Michael, didn't want to have any more kids.
Exactly. I think that's part of the problem. Combined
Mm-hmm.
with this is that he didn't want to have more children. He wanted to have fun, but she insisted on having children because that's what she wanted. He gave in, so now he's not looking at her as sexy no more.
Hey Tracy, hey Nise, hey Ablavi.
That's really what it is to me.
Yeah. Um, then we see Wendy and her mom at the photo shoot for the candle business, and they get into it. Oh my god. And this is money that you're wasting because you have to pay for this photo shoot, Wendy. And you pick here to have this conversation with your mom with regards to your delayed uh dreams. You're living your dream now. Let it go. That's all I have to
Exactly.
say. I love her mother though. She put on her sunglasses and she was like, "I'm calling the Uber. Bye."
Yeah, she's not. She didn't even wait. She didn't even wait for them to say anything. She's like, "I'm just leaving.
Mhm.
This is where we are."
And of course, the photographer has a whole engineering degree. Why? Because Wendy says he's African.
Yep.
But okay. All right. So then we see Ashley. She's taken what she's learned from the therapist and she's booked a room at the Watergate Hotel. She checks in, she changes into her little sexy dress. She's lighting her candles. And Michael arrives. She's feeding him cheesecake and she's trying to be sexy, but then she starts talking about the trip. I think she derailed it right there. But then she puts him on the little blindfold on him and she tries to straddle him. And so then she takes him into the bedroom. And instead of hearing, gross sounds of them getting it on, you hear him say something like he's so fascinated about these buttons by the toilet.
Right.
And then it got me interested because I was like, wait, what buttons by the toilet? What do they do? Is it like a bidet? What's going on? Is it a Japanese style toilet? Does it have a heated seat? Like I started going through all of these things in my head.
He was just so into that toilet, not into her. I mean, I think she needs to come to realize that look, you got the prenup, you got the post nup, you got the baby nups, you got all kind of nups. Just be a mom and let him do him.
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm sorry, that's just where they are in their relationship.
Wait, I needed to ask you about this. What was it that Michael was saying with regards when she said, well, Chris says something very interesting, he wants to have a path forward. And Michael was like, well, his wife has said some really bad things. Um,
Hmm.
but as long as Juan is there, what?
Yeah,
What, what?
yeah, I'll speak to G, fine, whatever. But as long as Juan is there, I'm fine. I was like, oh, okay.
And then they play the most cringiest
Oh, that was
scene
so
about the bachelor
bad.
party and that old geezer laugh that Michael has. Oh
And then
God.
the bachelor party with just us two.
And Juan said that part. It wasn't even Michael. Michael was saying the bachelor party, and Juan was like, "Yeah, just us two." Mm.
And I have a question.
Ronnie,
Do
yeah.
you think? Do you think? Do you think? Do you think that this might be Robin's last season? Because there
I
was no mention. Because here's the reason why I asked this. Because there's no mention. There was no mention of really of a wedding. There was no mentioning. We saw no wedding planning.
mm-hmm.
And next week is the finale.
Well,
And,
they giving us that cliffhanger where she and Juan having an argument as if we even care at this point.
there's no wedding planning at all.
No.
None. Zero.
But you building a house. I would how much you want to bet they already married?
I mean, who's to say they ever got divorced?
Ooh.
I'm just saying. Conspiracy theory.
Mm-mm-mm. Trey, I could see Michael being fascinated by a bidet, just saying. And who was this who said that they would be fascinated by the buttons too? That girl. Yes. I'm intrigued by these buttons on the toilet. And who knew that Michael used to own the Watergate Hotel? Go, Michael. You got coin.
Yeah, Michael got coin. Yeah, I think go back to like broke.
Mm.
Quit playing.
Ashley had to marry him for money? Yes, I
Yes.
wholeheartedly agree with it. Okay. And then we see Giselle going to the therapist to reconfirm that she has issues.
Mhm.
And that's it. That's the episode. And so next week, we see we see in the preview for next week, um, dear Lord, let Ray and Karen get down these stairs safely.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm gonna go with you on that one.
we see the argument with Juan and Robin. What else did we see? That's the only things that stuck out for me in the preview. I don't remember anything else. I don't care.
Yeah, there's nothing really fascinating with I mean, to me, Robin and Juan cannot be the whole show next week. I'm gonna need them not to do that to me,
They can't. No, the whole show, the majority of the show is gonna be Karen's whoop de doo vow renewal.
which is
That's it.
fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. My time is control. Yes, Ryan. Yes. Oh yeah, Michael and Chris do get into it at the wedding. Yeah, well then again, that's still like the wedding event. So I think that's going to take up most of the episode and probably a few minutes at the beginning. You're going to see the fight between Juan and Robin, which will probably mean he doesn't want to go to the ceremony. It'll be a good way for him to be out. Um, all right, so next we have Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 2, episode 7, Slippery Slope. There wasn't much here for me.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so Whitney gets the ladies, invites the ladies to go tubing. Mary's voicemail isn't set up. That is not a big surprise.
I mean,
Um,
it's not shocking at
Lisa,
all.
yeah, Lisa picks up her kid Henry from school and feeds him a nutritious meal via the drive-throughs at Wendy's and Bahama Bucks for dessert. Okay, those cake pops did look good though. I ain't gonna lie. Jenny and Dewey go for dinner. Oysters. Oh, they were good, Jamal.
Yeah.
And they
Shout
discussed
out,
this thing.
shout out for
Mhm.
Bravo and YouTube for not having this episode online for me when I woke up this morning. So I had to rely on 2 clips and a written review or two to get the gist. But you kind of got the gist. You
Mhm.
with this episode in particular, you got the gist just from those 2 clips and the review.
Mhm.
So I didn't miss anything. So I'm okay.
um, so they have the conversation again. And she's really offended by the sister wife thing. He's like, I have patients who are polygamous. Good for you. She says she's a Catholic and it's not done. Did you even speak to our priest? Like, what are you even saying? How could you feel like you could say this to me? And she goes, why would he want her to share him with somebody else? And she's crying, and he goes like, you're my best friend. I don't want to lose you. He says that he gets in his feelings every March when the anniversary of their daughter's death comes around, and he feels like there's something missing. And she suggests therapy, what Meredith told her last week at the fish pedicure place. And
Mhm.
he is not for it at the beginning, but then at the end says, I will think on it. Is that okay? And she goes, yeah. Um, did they ever mention what order this little girl was? Was she the first, second, third, or the last baby that she had? Because if she was in the top of the order, are you saying that the other kids that you had after her just cannot fill that void? And if they can't, why would additional children make you think that the void would be filled if the three that you have now ain't fill that void? I don't know if I'm talking in circles. I don't see, I don't think it's, their storyline just isn't making sense to me.
Mhm.
It just isn't. And yes, Ryan, I agree with this. This was Mary's episode.
I was reading that Mary was just snapping on folks. I'm like, whoa.
Mary was talking her talk. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so next we see Seth and Meredith. I think they're at lunch. I like happy Seth. Last year, when Seth wasn't happy, I wasn't really feeling him, but this year, I love him. He's like, he asked for shots because it takes the locks off of Meredith. Yes. Um, it seems like they're looking for a new house, and he says he wants spectacular views so he can wake up and motorboat Mother Nature. I'm like, who says this stuff?
He's hilarious.
He's crazy. Then he asks her, if, what expectations does she have of him? And she's going on about communication techniques and blah, blah, blah. And she wants him to step up with regards to the kids. Um, aren't there kids in college?
Yeah, I think the youngest one. I want to say the youngest one is 18.
18?
I think it's the youngest one. But they're pretty. This Brooks is the. I think Brooks is the oldest. And there's a girl and there's another girl.
We've seen a
Yeah,
blonde hair girl, Chloe,
is it Chloe?
something like that. Seth is annoying me. All his talk leads back to boning Meredith. Well, if he ain't get it all last year. I don't mind it. He seems playful and he just directs it at her most of the time. Like he isn't creepy about it.
Okay, so they're 20. So Reed is their oldest,
Uh-huh.
23. Brooks is the middle, 21. Chloe's 18. So yeah, 18.
So what kids does she, and Chloe's at school, right?
I think isn't Chloe just about to go off to school, or she already there? I can't remember.
I thought she was already there.
But she was at. We saw her at home, or was she on break when we saw her?
I think she was on a break.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like, well, now this is making me side with Seth because he's like, I think you get too involved with the kids. These are grown people.
he's
Oh,
a, you're too involved.
yeah.
I'm gonna need you
But he
to.
did commit to her that he will jump on the stress grenades for her. Um, Something about being naked. Yeah, he was talking about sex again, but it's just to his wife and us. um, we see Heather at one of her med spas, and she's prepping for a party. She's celebrating the first anniversary of the med spa. And remember, she had 5 of her staff who were pregnant all at the same time. They
Mhm.
all had boys. So she's
Oh
celebrating them plus the business as well.
wow, I do remember that though.
Yeah, all 5 women had 5 boys. Crazy. But you know what? I'm happy for Heather, and I'm glad that she's allowing herself to celebrate her success. Because I think
And
Heather
that,
from a few years
hmm
ago wouldn't have done it.
nope.
Hmm. So at the little party, it's Jen, it's Whitney, it's Angie. Um, and Angie wants to know all the tea about what happened at the dinner, the double date with Whitney and Lisa and their husbands. And so Whitney tells her, Whitney can't believe like they're saying that she's lying. And Jen sits there and it's like, this doesn't sound like the Lisa I know. What? Okay.
Y'all just became friends. What are you talking about? And y'all became friends because y'all didn't have nobody else. So we gonna call
Mm-hmm.
a thing. We gonna call a thing on that one.
Mm-hmm. And so then we see Angie, I guess, had one too many drinks because she falls flat on her ass. And then they have to take her to the restroom to puke it out because Whitney, the alcohol expert, is telling her just puke it out. Good Lord. All right, so now we're going tubing, and Mary arrives with a stretch Hummer, and she says this is a 2-hour trip. The place that Whitney selected, is 2 hours away. That's 60 minutes times 2.
Twice.
Yes,
That's 60 minutes. Twice.
twice. So I have to be comfortable. Go ahead, Mary. I feel that they told Mary she had to show up for this group event
I, I was gonna say the same thing.
because she was not having it. She was in a pissy mood from the beginning. And she didn't want to do this trip. She says something like one of her strange things that she says, I guess frozen ovaries or something like that. I can't remember.
Carbonation. What she said. Oh, drinking
The-
carbonation hardens your ovaries.
yes. And so Lisa says, is that true? I have to Google it. Mary took offense. Mary was
Right.
like, why you always got to Google everything I say?
I was like, Mary, calm down. It's
She
okay.
even threw out the black card. Is it because I'm black?
I was like, I was like, no, it's not.
Oh my God. It was crazy. And then they get there, and then Jenny's like, let's just come the fuck on or something. She says an expletive.
She wants to have
And
fun.
yeah. And she's in her feelings too. And Mary's like, don't use those words with me. And Jenny was like, you don't tell me what to do. And they go at it. And I was like, what the hell? Lisa, I guess, goes to Mary and is just like, are we good? And Mary's just like, I don't care. I can't believe that you're making me walk. She has on high heel snow boots. The ridiculousness of it all. Okay, so the mountain has a conveyor belt that takes you up, right? They
Hmm.
had to pull the tube from the rack to the conveyor belt. Mary was complaining. Mary was like, the tube weigh more than me.
That doesn't seem like fun to me. I'm sorry.
It didn't seem like fun.
I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch this episode. Like, it wasn't online yet. But the way it sounds, make it sound. This doesn't sound like fun.
It was fun for the other ladies, with the exception of Mary, because
Gotcha.
they even did a race. The final go down, they did a race. So they split up into two teams. And this is where Jen starts getting in her feelings because her friend Lisa refused to get on her team. So Jen was on the team with the tits up. And then Heather and Jen, Lisa was on the team with Heather, tits up, and Jen was on the team tits down or something like that. I can't remember. It was real ridiculous. But they had to race to get down to the bottom of the hill and get to Mary, who refused to participate first. Okay. And
Hmm.
whoever lost had to wear these stupid wigs at the lunch that they had afterwards. I think everybody had a good time except Mary. And so when they get to the lunch, everybody is eating except Mary. Mary's still in her feelings. And that's when we see Lisa having her freak out. And oh shit, Mary says most of the time Lisa's lying. I think she said that in a
Yes,
confessional.
confessional.
Uh-huh.
Because
And
she said, oh, Lisa, how about we Google everything you say? Oh, but you lie most of the time. So did I say that out loud?
mm-hmm. But Mary says that Lisa is demeaning, and she speaks down to her. And that's how she feels.
Hmm.
Lisa does have a very clipped way of speaking to people,
Yes, it's
you
very,
know.
it's a very, there's a tone to her.
Mm-hmm. And oh, when everybody was fighting, there was a really cute segment where Jen and Heather actually chest bump each other and say, "At least it's not them who's causing the arguments." That was cute. Um, so yeah, they get to the lunch. That's when Jenny admits, she's been a little sensitive that day because it is the anniversary of her daughter's passing. And so every year it's very rough on her. So she does, I don't really think she apologizes. She just says, look, this is why I'm in my feelings today. Mary sits there and is just like, you ain't the only one who's died, girl, or whatever. She's just not having it. Then Lisa has her meltdown where she's saying that she can't even say Google without somebody jumping on her, and she wants everybody to get off her back. And Mary's looking like, whatever. Mary wants to be any place else but there. Um, it's because you're cuckoo crazy. Yeah, I don't know where the black card came from.
Correct. That's where I was completely stuck.
I thought it was inappropriate use of black card. Just saying, unless she was thinking, well, as the only black person here, maybe I should just use it since Jen has used it so much. Maybe that's what she's thinking. I don't know. I don't know. Um, let me see. Oh, and another thing that Lisa says at the lunch when she's feeling piled on, she says that she's hurt she says this in the confessional. She's hurt that her friends Jen and Meredith are sitting there and not saying anything while everybody's ganging up on her. And so when she starts supposedly crying, did anybody see any tears? I don't know. I didn't see any.
Not supposedly a crying.
Angie, the girl that she says she was going to ignore for the entire trip, is the only person who comes over to her to hug her. But Angie, if you're upset that your friend of 20 years has accused you of lying, why the hell you going over there and coddling her? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay, that sister wife storyline is stupid. Sorry, but it feels like it was taken from a really bad soap opera or the show Sister Wives. I wouldn't be surprised.
Me neither.
Let's see. Oh, Mary also makes a comment because when Jeannie is explaining all of her stuff regarding why she was so snippy, Mary says in her confessional, all right, so she's telling, her story, but if you are addressing me, I'm gonna need you to look at me when you're talking to me. Otherwise, like, I don't know who you're talking to. Which she did have a point there.
No, that's the point. No, I'm the same way because I've been I think we've all been in those situations where someone will say something and it'll be in general, but then they're like, "Well, I was talking to you." I'm like, "How am I gonna know that? You looking way over there. How am I going like that? When you're not looking that at me, I don't think you're talking to me."
Mm-hmm. And so Jenny also shares with this group again her traumatic pregnancy history. And Lisa says in the confessional, I don't understand why Jenny is sharing all this with this group because they're all bitches. And that was the end of the episode. Yeah, it was. You ain't missed nothing, Jamal.
I could just tell by the reviews and the clips. I'm like, oh, this is the clips tell me everything I need to know.
Honestly, I think all of us are just hanging in here until the arrest.
I mean, like if we really gonna call a thing a thing, yeah, we're just waiting for the arrest.
And it has to be mid-season, and there has to be epic meltdowns of everything.
Yes.
Now, in the preview, I think I'm suspecting that Mary is like this with Lisa because there's something going on in the background that probably Mary knows with regards to Lisa.
Right.
Because we see in the previews for next week, Lisa's holding this event that she does not invite Mary to, but she has some guy there who is speaking ill of Mary. So it's quite interesting what's coming up. So maybe Mary knew what Lisa was up to.
That was my assumption, to be honest.
Hey, larger curves. So we're gonna see the demise of this non-friendship, and hopefully an arrest soon.
Yeah, the rest has to come mid-season. I mean, here's the thing: We will know when it's coming because they'll talk about the cat. They'll talk about the trip. So that'll be our clue that the arrest is coming.
We already talked about Jen's black phobic ways. Huh? No. We just went through the episode. Did she have black phobic ways this episode? I hope not. So yeah, those were our 2 episodes. This was the Housewives Roundup. There isn't like I hope the final the season finale for Potomac, it gives me something other than what this episode did. Um, it seemed like the season went by quickly, which is always good. Jeannie's husband reminds me of Fred Armistead from Yes! Oh my God, Trey, that's so true. He does. Poor Butterface. Um, that's a good one, Trey. I agree with you on that. Um, let's see Potomac, what their final episode will give. Um, I how many parts do you think their reunion would have? I'm saying two.
It better only be two.
Yeah, I don't see how this season could have any more than two. But here we go. All right, so tomorrow, tune in, guys. What are we talking about tomorrow? I love a
Oh,
mama's
Mama's
boy.
boy.
I love a mama's boy. I have to do the thumbnail for that. I was trying to do it yesterday because I got up early and watched the episode early on Discovery Plus, and it was good. I liked it. So then I tried to do the thumbnail, but Discovery Plus is a bunch of bitches who don't let you do a snippet. When
Mm.
you try to do the snip, the
Mhm.
screen go black.
Oh,
So
there's
I
nothing
gotta
wrong
go
for
to
that.
TLC Go today and see if I can do it there. Um, you can see the dress Karen wore on my channel preview. Oh, nice. So if everybody, is this the first dress or the second dress? Because remember she was getting a second one. Everybody go over to Larger Curves channel to see a preview of Karen's wedding dress from a guest who attended. Shut up. You got the connection, Larger Curves. I know no one. Um, Jamal, you got to start getting connections. You're the social butterfly of this duo.
I'll do that to the other people.
All right,
Oh, from
guys.
a guest
From a
for
guest.
a guest who attended. Ooh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As I say, you gotta make friends. Oh,
it's
she
on
posted on IG.
Instagram. Okay,
Ooh.
the
Okay,
Instagram.
guys. So tune in tomorrow for I Love a Mama's Boy at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, where we can talk about that show. I hope that wraps up soon because I'm getting very tired of it. And hopefully we can push once the reunion starts for Potomac, we can push Salt Lake City to Tuesday and just do a TLC Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. The guest was on G before production had it removed. Oops.
Ooh. Wow.
Whoa. Oh Lord. Well, that was stupid. They let them keep their phones in the ceremony. Are you serious? All of those would have been taken away and put in boxes. Mm-mm-mm. So, okay, guys. Jamal, any final thoughts on this housewife roundup?
No, I'm just I like you said. Let's be honest. We're all looking forward to Jen getting arrested or the car chase or whatever's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. We just
Don't
need
nobody
a little
care.
bit more. Yeah.
Don't
We're
nobody care.
like if nobody knew about the arrest, then we might care about some of these other plot lines, but no. We just and we're not even going to see the arrest. We're just going to see her walking out of the courthouse. We'll see her running from the trip and then walking out of the courthouse. They don't have any other footage of anything else. So basically, I'm hoping that the aftermath is worth something.
It has to be something. I'm sorry. You gotta give us something.
Mm-hmm. All right. So until next time, my friend.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye.